You guys awake? You should be. Even if you didn't want to be awake by now, there's so much going on in the world that it's kind of hard not to be. That right there is Peyton Grinnell. He's a Lake County sheriff. Peyton thinks he can dress like ISIS and run around busting down doors to attack heroin dealers with your tax money. There's been a lot of issues with law enforcement lately. People that we pay, our public servants, you know. I was just shocked. I thought this was a joke when I first saw it, and then realized they were really serious. You guys have seen this going around. He's, threatening. It's basically, it's so sad. I spent a long time being angry about it, and then I realized it was just really sad because they're just boys. They're just boys. And they got issues. Serious issues. But we have bigger problems than that. We're going to talk about some other stuff first. Then we're going to get to that. Lake County. Move on to some other things. United. I know. That's all going on too. And I'm adjusting audio, so give me a moment here. Good morning, everybody. Stock Post, Steve, Jupiter, Brahm, Joanne. How are we doing today? Brad, Ninetails. How are you guys doing? Good morning, good morning. Luna, how are you? Just scrolling up here. Lynn, Phil, Density, Baked, Katie. If I missed your name, I'll get you soon. Good morning. Good to see everybody. Of course, we have the Burnin' German with us today. Marcus, how you doing, Marcus?
I'm fine, still not wrestling, and good morning, America.
Thank you for being here. You've seen the Lane County thing, right?
Yes, I did.
Or Lake County, not Lane, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did.
What?
Anyway, I did.
I mean, that wouldn't happen in Germany, right? We just get that out of the way. Impossible. Let's just go there. Oh, I know. All right, but let's talk about, we got so much. I'm not going to get angry today because so much is going on that we really got to focus our energy on other things. We don't have time, we don't have energy to spare on anger. And we can be enraged, but that's about it. All right? So we'll get there. Hey Ellis, Steve Collins, Froze, good morning. Luis, good morning. So that was a Fusion did this video. We're going to watch that video, but before that, I want to talk about the wonderful job that the Truth Against the Machine kids did, and I'm going to call them kids, but I say that lovingly. Really, I shouldn't use that term because they're all grown-ups, much more grown-up than MSM in many ways, in terms of how they report. They did a great interview with Tim Canova the other day. And we produced that. It was on Sunday. Weekly with them. They're working real hard. They want to change the name of the show and change the branding and change everything. They're all focused on that stuff. And in the meantime, they managed to throw together really quick a great show with good content and good interview questions. And they covered a lot of stuff. And Tim was on to talk about the Sable Trail Pipeline, which is an unneeded pipeline that is going to do damage to Florida, which happens to be on fire right now, according to Jupiter Judy. Judy and Slack was saying Florida's got a state of emergency right now. Governor Scott, that brilliant man who doesn't recognize the power of the sun unless it's hitting his bald head. We see the power of the sun there on Tim. Tim has definitely got like the Miami Vice look going on there. He's got a tan going on. He's definitely in Florida. But you guys remember Tim, right? He was a challenger to Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and then he didn't really do all well in the debate, and he got clobbered. She clobbered him in the election. But hopefully we can. I don't know why Florida's people. You guys in Florida, man, in Orlando area now. Jupiter Judy, that's where you are. Anyway, or is that where the fires are? Fires everywhere. Like 25 fires, each burning more than 100 acres. In Florida. It's Florida. Florida used to be known as a wetlands. Florida used to be swampy and not a lot of fire problems in Florida. Today, problems with fire in Florida. And it's sinking. So Florida is sinking and on fire. It's like a ship just going down. Ignorant of its own problems. Not, a lot of the people have woken up, especially the people that are on the coast that, their houses are going underwater. But anyway, Tim talks about the Sable Pipeline, talks about what needs to happen, talks about potentially running for office. I mean, he's a fantastic candidate. Just because he had a poor showing in one debate and didn't have the support he needed locally to get the job done doesn't mean he shouldn't continue, right? We're human beings. We make mistakes, or we do. I've done shitty shows. Didn't mean I stopped and said, I'll never do a fucking show again. Right? So Tim's ready to go. He's ready to run. He's got support. He's got backing. People are saying, here, we want you to do this job or this job. Whatever he ends up doing, great for him, because Tim understands that climate change is real. And he lives in Florida, which makes Tim unique to both understand that climate change is real and live in the state of Florida. So, actually, that's not true. There's a growing number of government officials that are recognizing it, right? And large number of constituents. So, you're not sinking? 22-foot elevations is a mountain in Florida. Yes, Jupiter Judy, you've got 22 feet. I think in the end there's about 36 coming. So, hope you outlast that. You probably will. I don't think we'll hit all 36, right? Although the latest data shows that we might be, that's all accelerating. Remember I was showing you that, Marcus? That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good. Not good stuff. The jet streams are intermingling over the equator more and more. Yeah, exactly, Phil. What? What, Jilly Love? Are you serious? Reports of military and fireballs activity off of SoCal coast. Holy shit, really? Is this drills, or is this like we finally going to war with somebody? That seems awful close, coast of California. Tell me what that is. Tell me I misread that. Tell me I missed context in that, because that's usually what happens when I pick up one quote like that. I'm like, what the fuck? Florida is setting up pipelines to ship water from Tallahassee to Miami. Interesting. All right, so we got a lot of stuff. I just wanted to mention that they did a good job. Truth Against Machine Kids did a really good job. And apparently Susan Sarandon retweeted their tweet about the show and got them a lot more. So help them out, right? They're doing a great job. I enjoy producing the shows for them. It's fun. It's fun. They're learning as fast as they can, and they're working really hard to get good guests. And I like seeing that effort put in. And it's really sad that I'm old enough to call them kids and think of them that way. The fireball in SoCal was a meteor. Badass. Sad, though. I'd hope it'd be like aliens coming down to set some things straight. But not yet. They're waiting for it. We got to take care of that ourselves. It's our job. All right, back to the list. The card. Are you ready to watch the Fusion video about these Lake County dudes? Because this is just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing. This is them. This is the full... I mean, at first I look at this and I go, Jesus Christ, would they look scary? What are these guys? And then I look at it again and is this Halloween? Is this the sheriff's department's out Halloween? They look like the Teenage Mutant Asshole Turtles. Right? I don't even know what they're supposed to be. And then I'm like, no, this is the sheriff's department dressing like ISIS. Maybe this is ISIS. They look like terrorists. If somebody dressed like this came to your door, screaming about this, that, and the other, heroin, fuck you, whatever, listen, if I saw these guys going to bust into my friend's house, I would think they were terrorists or robbers. They don't look like police. And when you don't look like police, that gives me the opportunity to defend myself. And that's exactly what I'd say in court. I'd say, you know what? I shot them because I had no idea who they were. They identified as police, but they didn't look like police. I've never seen public servants dressed like ISIS and threaten people with military-style weapons, so I'd just shoot them.
We have those guys in Germany.
What are they called?
It's a special unit here in Germany. They are called GSG-9. Well, they were the special force in the late 70s who freed the hostages in Somalia from the airplane. unit, and they have to cover their faces because they should be unknown because they are special trained forces.
All right. Well, and you could argue that these guys are supposed to be SWAT. Okay, because that's what he says when our SWAT
but no
team
policemen.
comes in.
But there are no policemen, you know.
Well, sheriffs. Yeah, I don't care. In my country, what I want to do is write state laws to say I don't think if you're a public servant and you're gonna be a sheriff, you don't get to wear a fucking mask. That's bullshit. Bullshit.
Not as a policeman.
Not as
at
a policeman.
Yes, I
no.
agree.
That
Yes.
would be a military unit, right? GSG-9 is a military unit, correct?
It's not a military unit. It's a special police unit, you know.
It's a
but
special
trained
police,
trained for interference in terrorism, hostages, and so on. You know?
How many of those do you have? Because the problem is that every one of our police force is a SWAT force.
Good question. 30, 50, maybe 50.
I don't agree. I guess I don't agree. How often do they need to be used? Our guys work daily like this. I don't.
No.
You know?
No.
This is daily operations. This is daily operation. You know, it's like I just.
They are used here, I think, 3 or 4 times a year.
Here's what I'm trying to say. Like SWAT, the concept of the SWAT team, that's what they used to dress. That's what I used to see our SWAT teams look like. Okay. Now, every police force in America looks like that. There's no difference between the cop and SWAT and our military troops in Afghanistan. There's just no fucking difference. It's the color of their helmets, and that's the thing that scares me.
And look what message it sends. If those policemen are dressed like this in public, it tells somehow that the people there are considered to be a kind of terrorists, so that they cannot be dressed in halfway normal policeman clothes. You know.
Right. Let's watch the Fusion video because it's yeah.
To the dealers that are pushing this poison, I have a message for you. We're coming for you.
This Florida sheriff is not messing around.
To the dealers, I say, enjoy looking over your shoulder, constantly wondering if today's the day. We come for you.
Sheriff Grinnell released this video as a warning to heroin dealers. This video has gone viral. In it, he's flanked by 4 silent masked deputies. Some people were reminded of a different kind of video. Husband looking at my screen, is that an ISIS video? No, that's the Lake County Sheriff in Florida. I mean, this is on Twitter. Some wanted to say this looks like an ISIS video, and I would tell you that those drug agents working up there with me, they're the ones working in the dark world. Peyton Grinnell.
Enjoy trying to sleep tonight, wondering if tonight's the night our SWAT team blows your front door off the hinges. We are coming for you. Run.
Similar drug raids across the country have led to avoidable deaths and lawsuits. And the tough on drugs approach hasn't reduced opioid-related deaths. More than 33,000 people died from opioid overdoses in 2015. More than any year on record. Lake County has seen a huge spike in heroin-involved fatalities, from 7 deaths on record in 2015 to 32 deaths in 2016. There's bipartisan agreement that the crisis should be addressed as a health issue by expanding treatment and prescription regulations, not by declaring war. I don't understand. That's the mentality of our cops. A lot of our cops. Because it's just not Peyton Grinnell and team that like to dress up like military Nazis and fucking run around being brutal. Case in point, the untrained cops who brutalized the man on the United flight after understanding that it was their right to do so that some employee could sit in his fucking seat. I wonder how that employee felt the whole time they were in that seat. I hope they felt like shit. Our cops have forgotten their place. They are public servants. They don't serve anymore, and they don't remember their jobs. And it's frightening. It's frightening. Yeah, you're scared straight. It's exactly the whole, and that's the other point. If Peyton really wants to go after the terrorists, they'd be busting down some doors at pharmaceutical companies, wouldn't they, Marcus?
I'm sorry, I didn't get it.
They would be, pharmaceutical companies are really the ones pushing the opioid addiction in the country. We know this.
Yes. Yeah. Of course, yeah.
If our cops really want to stop, let's stop it at the source. Go to who's the manufacturer of the product, right? Go to the drug lord.
Yes. This is only. It shows only that those guys are presenting their cocks, to say it clear. Nothing else.
You said that.
We got balls of steel, and this is what we want to show you.
You said that you were surprised at the end that they didn't just whip out their dicks. Go, see?
Yeah. It was, for me, it was a parody, for me as a German, It was taken from a cheap action movie, and this guy even stole the catchphrase "Run" from Bray Wyatt. He's a wrestler.
Are you curious? Jesus. Cops trying to act like it's just unfucking believable. Yeah. It's like I said. Once we get done being angry at the injustice, being angry at the just absurdity of a publicly paid official acting like that, like a child, like an adolescent who needs to compare dick size, we feel sad. I told you, I said I couldn't go on being angry at this guy. I have pity. How sad for you. You have mommy issues. You've got dick issues. You got something wrong with you. Somebody didn't love you enough, Peyton. And I mean that as sarcastically as it sounds. I mean that as crassly as it sounds. But I do mean it as one human being to another. To Peyton Grinnell. How can we help you emotionally? Because, boy, you're fucked up inside. And it's okay. Now, I've fucked up inside for a long time. I'm an alcoholic. I dealt with all sorts of Catholic issues and some cop abuse in my teen years. Working through that. But I made a choice not to be a douchebag dickhead. And you need to make that choice too, Peyton. Let us help you. You need some hugs. You need some love. You need to... I don't know. See, that's the thing. I'm not a therapist for real. This is just conversational therapy. It just means bullshit. We're having a conversation how we deal with this stuff. I really wouldn't know how to help Peyton. I just know that Peyton needs help. Violence is not going to help Peyton. That's how Peyton ended up the way he is now. Right? Even though I think Peyton could use a good clobbering, won't do anything for Peyton. Won't do it. It'll do something for me, really. It's selfish. I'll feel really good about it for a while. Think I justified in my actions, and then I'll feel bad about it because I'll realize that Peyton just sad and needs help.
He was crying for help, yeah.
He was crying for help in that video. And there were 4 other cops with him that they didn't even feel good enough about themselves to do that without masks. They're just like, I can't even show my face. That's where they were. I mean, when you have people like that,
have taken those brown paper things,
Yeah.
Those paper, yeah.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Corporation Killer, Soul Rebel. Good to see you there. K Grin. Heroin is delivered by the CIA. Yes, it is. Yes, that's the other thing. If they really wanted to, heroin comes from the DEA and the CIA. Whatever they want to allow flow in and out of the country, whatever deals they're making those days. They are the gateway of those gateway drugs. Oh, they're not gateway drugs, though. But pharmaceutical companies, they're pushers of the pill heroin. Did you know this? You guys don't, I don't know if you know this. I might have said this. My wife works for a company that deals with lab tests for shit like drugs. The holy grail for them, and I can't remember if she said they had cracked this or we're almost about to go. I can't remember, but the holy grail is to be able to create a drug that will separate street heroin from opioid heroin, from pharmaceutical heroin. Because what's happening is that pharmaceutical companies push their fucking opiates. Doctors push those opiates because they're fucking whatever. And we get people addicted to these opiates. Instead of saying, why don't you go smoke a few joints and get over it, or eat some edibles, why don't you do natural healing, why don't you try something different, even aromatherapy, which actually is fucking real. We'll talk about that later. But instead of that, They push the opioids. And then when they take the prescriptions away, when they're like, sorry, you're done, the person's like, I'm addicted. I need to go get me some street heroin. And that's where the addiction comes from. There are a lot of people who were given pain meds as for whatever illness that went and became addicted to somebody else. And if the doctor won't renew the script, they go out and find street heroin. And street heroin these days is pretty decent. It's not like the old days of heroin. I mean, it used to be you couldn't snort heroin or smoke heroin. Nowadays, you can get good street heroin. Apparently, you don't have to just shoot it up. Less worries. And so that's what's happening. The labs can't tell the difference in the body. And if they could separate the difference, then insurance companies and corporations would be able to track employees going from an opioid addiction to a street addiction and know. That's like the Holy Grail. That tells you it's insane that we need to do this. Why aren't we arresting the drug dealers? Why aren't we arresting the manufacturers, the pharmaceuticals? Because our country is run by pharmaceutical industry and the fossil fuel industry and the war industry. Fossil fuels and pharmaceuticals are just derivative profits to the war industry. Think about it. That's two biggest winners there, right? You need the fuel to go to war. You need the pharmaceuticals to take care of all the people fucked up from the war. It's a beautiful industry. Beautiful.
Yeah, and the USA is one of the biggest markets for the German pharmaceutical industry, you know?
Yes. Yes, Bayer.
Yeah.
One of my fave companies. Bayer. But you guys, that's an interesting relationship there because you got stronger environmental laws. Haven't you banned a lot of Bayer's products? You know?
No, because of course they have a very mighty lobby, and
a lot of your people work for Bayer, I'm guessing.
Yes. The next city to mine is Leverkusen, and Leverkusen there's the Bayer plant.
Yeah.
Say that Leverkusen is a complete plant, if you know, because everybody who lives in Leverkusen works in this plant.
Wow. Yeah, we have those here. We have whole communities built for Intel. You know.
Yeah. Comparable.
Yeah. All right. There's just a lot of heavy shit today. We're gonna try to get through it all. I just a lot of heavy stuff. Tim Canova interview. Oh shit! I forgot about this stuff. Upcoming events. This is one I've been really trying to focus on my cards. The one thing I don't do really well is focus on my rundown what I want to talk about, guys. We always end up going off on other things. Hey, Juliet Nickel. Good to see you. So, upcoming events, we have a bunch of them. There's a lot going on. All right. So, Truth Against the Machine every Sunday at 9 a.m. Pacific. We got Chad Talks With. Tomorrow, Chad Talks with Katie Tillman. She is I'm talking with I'm talking with Katie Tillman next Saturday. Tomorrow, Chad talks with somebody who I don't know because I didn't create the card yet because we don't have it finished. And now I'm not going to... Chad, are you in the damn chat? I think Chad's in the chat. You need to put her name in. I don't have it because I didn't list it because there's just so much going on. I don't think here. No, I didn't put it on there. There's a Chad Talks With tomorrow. He's talking with a political group. I don't know who it is. And I should have written that information down. My bad. So that's on Wednesday. Then we've got the March for Science on the 22nd. Scott Galindas will be live streaming something from Iowa, and I'll be picking up streams from all over the place. The 23rd, there's another broadcast. It's Our Revolution. I think we'll be restreaming that, and I don't even know what that's about. The 29th is a climate stream. I think Scott's going to be broadcasting something there, and there's another one in there that I'm forgetting about. I'm serious. I got to get a full list. The problem is I haven't had time to do the calendar and all that stuff because I normally don't. I'm just saying there's a whole bunch of shit going on. So pay attention to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, that's all I can tell you. We got a lot of things happening.
And your guest is supposed to be Michelle Horn.
Thank you. No, that's Chad's guest,
Chad.
Michelle Horn.
Yes.
Thank you, because it was this. Okay, it was this one guy, And the one guy wouldn't respond or talk back. And I'm glad we've got Michelle, because Michelle is communicating with us. So that's thank you, Chad. Chad was working really hard at that, trying to get this guest, and the guest was just and I just want you to understand how hard our volunteer crew, everybody, from news gleaners, booking agents, everybody that works on this, graphics, Markus, everybody's working on stories, hosts. There's so much behind the scenes effort just to put an interview together, just to get somebody confirmed and booked and tech checked and brought in, and it's all really important. And I'm saying this because any support that you can offer us, be it through volunteer work within our Slack environment, sharing things in social, subscribing, encouraging other people to subscribe, or donating if you can to either of the Patreon accounts, would be awesome. And we have 2 Patreon accounts because I can't have myself tied to anybody else. I'm a massive liability. So we have a Patreon account for Ashley Terry, because he does the bulk, he does the graphics work, he does the artwork, he is essential to the functioning of this group. And we have a Patreon for me, John Ellis. Both of those links are in the description of this event. They're always in the description of the event. And if you can, a couple bucks, even if you just sign up for a month and do it and you're done, I don't care. That's fine. Thank you. It helps us. With Ashley, it helps him book time, because he really needs to, this is what he does for a living, right? For me, it helps me buy new gear, buy memory like we had to do the other day, replace things that break, which happens all the time, get new cables. That's what you help me with. Shipping the solo unit around the country, or sending Scott some money so that I can get him to one place or another. He's going to be traveling to Chicago to do the People Summit, right? And so you guys fund this, right? Nobody takes a paycheck. Nobody's using the money to go do fun stuff anywhere. It's you guys make this run, and we try to do it asking for his. I don't do a lot of promotion. Markus will tell you I don't do this, but I'm doing this now because we got so much fucking happening. Markus is nodding.
Yes. Absolutely correct. And we will need every help we can get. And I think you love this show, and I do it because I love this. And let's go on and make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Markus. All right, now I'm done promoting things and events, and we'll get all the events loaded and stuff and push it out for you. Just know there's a lot of stuff happening. Bernie Sanders is going on the road. That's going to be exciting. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you all those live streams. He's going on the road again. He's doing the tour. Bernie on tour is badass. We love it when Bernie goes on tour.
But unfortunately, he has Tom Perez in his suitcase.
Listen, we can't help the opening acts. Sometimes the opening act isn't as great as we want, right? We all knew that. And when we were watching the Bernie rallies before, it was like, who's opening for Bernie this time?
Okay. If you say this, then he should have better booked the Scorpions.
Yeah. I agree. Bernie should book the Scorpions. I think he should be better than Tom Perez, right? Listen, all we need is for Tom to bend to our will. He's just a tool in the shed. He's coming along. You think JFK was the last Democratic president of the U.S.? Quite possibly. Stock post. What about Carter? Markus, do you have connections with Democrats abroad in Germany?
I was trying to answer this question.
Great.
Not yet, but I will keep my ears and eyes open, of course, and if there's a chance, I will go for it.
Awesome. Have we mentioned to the audience, should we mention to the audience what we're working on with the broadcast?
Yeah, we can do a little teaser, I think. Well,
all right, yeah, go ahead. So this is we're working on this. Markus brought me this story. I'm going to let him tell you about it. Go for it, Markus.
Okay. I will get the chance to have an interview with a Syrian refugee, and I will make this happen. I hope I will make this happen within the next 2 weeks, and we would air it here on the show, and maybe we can arrange it that the guy, the refugee from Syria, will be with us in a live show after we had this, after we showed this video, and he would be glad to answer your questions. And I think I heard some parts of his story already, and can tell you it is very, very disturbing in parts and very interesting. And in parts shocking also. And he has a lot to tell and about his living in Germany here, how he came here, and his past in Syria when the war started.
It's gonna be intense, and it may end up being more than one show or a series. But Markus is working on that, and it's really an opportunity to hear a firsthand experience, uncensored. Right? It's not like you got a lot of MSM interviewing Syrian refugees and really providing an unspun narrative around it. And so, really appreciate Markus being able to do this, and yeah, it's huge. And appreciate the. I'm sorry, what's his name, Markus?
I don't tell his name right now,
okay,
because
yeah,
I think
that's fine.
We won't tell his real name.
Yeah,
and because he has family still there in Syria, and we will do anything not to endanger them, of course.
Yeah. There's some. It's a sad story. It's tragic. It's horrific. There's a lot there. So anyway, thank you for telling everybody about that. I'll let you know as we know more. You guys, this was a little blip. Again, so much stuff happened. The Pepsi commercial that Kendall Jenner did that everybody destroyed quickly. Did you catch that? That was Pepsi trying to use...
I watched the video, yes.
Did you watch it?
Did you? I watched it, yeah. But hold on, I'm sorry, I thought you were addressing...
What? No, what? I'm talking to you, yeah. What did you think of it?
I didn't see the original one with Kendall Jenner because I'm not a fan of her. And I think the one I saw in the list, it was quite interesting, yes.
Yeah, the one in the list is the... we're going to watch this GIF. It's the... I mean, it's basically a social media response to the Pepsi commercial. And then there was, of course, this ripple of response from Kendall Jenner, who didn't get it. I don't... It's... What it is capitalism, not understanding where to draw the line on making a buck. And it's pretty sad. And I'm glad social media is there to be the check and balance that mainstream media is no longer for everybody else. That's what social media is. Understand that. Social media has taken the role that mainstream media used to provide citizens because we're better at it, honestly. And it's a group effort. It's not just one narrative or another or a combined narrative. It's everybody's narrative, and it comes to a consensus. And a lot of things are pretty easy to come to a consensus on. And the commercial was basically exploiting Black Lives Matter movement, exploiting the entire political movement, exploiting the whole idea, what's really going on. Basically turning this revolution, which is what's happening right now. We have the people, the citizens, fighting law enforcement, fighting government at all levels. And they turned it into a fucking opportunity to sell you a Pepsi.
All right, I see.
There's nothing, I mean, it reminds me of Gil Scott-Heron. It can't get any more than this revolution will not be brought to you by Coke. It'll be brought to you by Pepsi. Right? Here's the GIF. This is the GIF that I just... That's the message. Respect authority. Capitalism solves everything. Capitalism is happiness. Respect authority. Reproduce and die. That's your government's message for you. That's what we fight. That's the common evil we fight. What, Markus?
No, I absolutely agree. Nothing to add. No comment.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I don't really drink a lot of that stuff. All right. I have that in top stories. We had a lot of top stories to talk about. I didn't really have like slides for everything. We had a lot of top stories. United assholes, Lake County idiots. You know, reminds me of Morton County and all the other counties that seem to be acting that way. What is it about sheriff's departments? I don't know. But you got that. This is also a top story. We're going to a good story. This is good, okay? Because while authority seems to be out of control and really needs to be reeled in, the renewable sector is charging ahead. And Elon Musk gets big congratulations because the market has spoken, and it says electric cars are the future. Ford had a 100-year start on Tesla, but Elon Musk's company has caught up with a market value of $53 billion. Tesla Motors overtook Ford at $45 billion on Monday and then passed up General Motors, $49 billion on Tuesday. That's the best, that's like the capitalist way to say fuck you to fossil fuels. Right there. Tesla Motors. Now, what makes this even more amazing is that the company's losing money. Tesla Motors loses I don't know what he subsidizes the car, ridiculous. He loses millions of dollars. The company's losing millions of dollars. Yet investors are investing in Tesla Motors because they know that the future is self-driving automobiles that do not run on fossil fuels. And so they're putting their money where the money's going to be. They're not stupid. And if there's one thing we can say about the people who do invest money, they're not stupid. They may be greedy, and that greed may be to a fault, which leads them to do stupid things. But they're not stupid when it comes to investing their money or knowing where to invest their money. Right? Investment in war is profitable until PR overrides and it becomes unprofitable. Right? Investment in fossil fuels is profitable until it's not. And the renewable sector has overtaken the Ford. Fuck you, fossil fuel industry. Fuck you, Exxon. That 125th, important today, being prophetic, being progress. It's all tied together. I was looking up a lot of Latin root words today. The word prophet. All right. So, that's badass. I have to tell you. That's just, I still can't afford a Tesla, but I am all behind their company, and someday I will be able to afford a Tesla because they'll make one that I can afford. Right? And that's where we're at. He subsidizes every vehicle sold $4,000 personally. He chooses to take when you are worth more than Ford and you're losing money, you are badass. Let's just put it that way. Thank you, Elon, for going the right direction. While 45 goes the wrong direction. I'm surprised, Marcus, really, that in Europe, because Europe overall is where the electric market is much farther ahead over there. And I'm surprised that there isn't more competition to Tesla, or maybe there doesn't need to be,
Okay, but you got to look at, I only can speak now for Germany. You got to look at Germany is crazy about cars.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, because a good car has to be a fossil fuel driven car, and but this thinking is slowly changing. The problem is that we do not have enough stations where they get the batteries or the power for their cars. If this would be much more organized and there were more stations for those cars, then I think it would be a very good chance that the numbers would increase here, what car sales is concerned.
Okay. I mean, I'm surprised. I thought that he had really built out an expansive network there. But
they are working. Yeah, of course, our companies are working on new concepts, and just like Tesla does. And but we missed a lot of time. And Elon Musk, in my opinion, is the leading man. What this project concerns.
True, that's very true. Well, I mean, we already know that Volkswagen said they were going to kick some serious ass in electric. BMW said it. Audi said it. So
they were late too. Audi VW is one company, and of course they say the same. They are too late. They were too late. There were too much thinking that the fossil fuels would be the future.
Yeah, they're behind the ball, and they know it. But you Europeans, Germans in particular, have a way of catching up fast. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes.
Well,
This is one place where I think capitalism works well. I want the competition. I want to see these guys make better vehicles for less. That's the goal, right? Or that should be part of better, faster, cheaper, right? 2 out of 3. I don't know. See if we can get Markus. You're in business. You understand that shit.
Yeah. Well, we will see where the future goes here.
Yeah.
There must be much more a political effort to get things done what this direction concerns. Into more green energy and cars. This is not discussed enough, in my opinion. Yeah.
Well, great. Well, please push forward. We're going backwards here, in some senses of the word. And Unga Bunga says, I'm not sold on Musk. Seems more neo-capitalist than progressive. Hope I'm wrong. Maybe. I think he understands that he lives in a money-first world, and he in order to transform things, he's got to build the utilities that nobody else is building that humanity needs to survive. If you think about it, that's what he's done. He's built the base utilities that we need to survive, shifting from fossil fuels into renewables. And honestly, whether he's done it as a neo-capitalist or a progressive, I don't give a fuck. Somebody had to do it. I'll just say that. Somebody had to do it. It was, he's created many things that everybody said, why would you want to build that? And that'll never work. He's really been a prophet of progress. And is he perfect? No. I mean, I've already heard the rumbles of shitty things going on within the company and treating people, crappy. Those are corporations, and leave it at that. I'm reading you guys' conversation. You have strong. Alon supports a basic income. He does, right? Because a basic income would help everybody afford his cars. But no, because he's smart. I mean, he understands where we're at. All right, moving on, because I got a lot of damn stories to talk about here. Remember this guy? This is karma, everybody. Here's some political karma right here. Remember the Alabama family values governor, Republican, who was busted having an affair and then was whining about the fact that social media was lambasting him for having the affair? Like, guess what? Welcome to being a public official. You don't get to talk about family values and then go have an affair. We are going to destroy you. This is actually old. Not only was he forced to resign amid the sex scandal, he was arrested, jailed. I think the sentence has already been handed down. I'm not even sure. He will be facing community service. He has to repay a shit ton of money. He has to do a whole bunch of other shit because he used public funds to try to cover up his fucking affair. So this guy went from whining in social media about this to boom. Congratulations, Alabama. You just took care of a really corrupt asshole. Good work. You got a long way to go. Long way to go in Alabama. Whew. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Stock posts, Katie, they have charging stations in UK all on a lot of the highways. That's good to know. You've got a Toyota with 300,000 miles on it, Joanne. It's very cool. Another family values Republican caught having an affair. Yeah, I know. Another one. There are so many. For the Republicans, the ones that complain about family values and have none. That's exactly the way they are. It's just insane. And yes, I can generalize because it is a stereotype, and stereotypes exist for a reason. There are a shit ton of Republican, Christian, family values, hypocrite douchebags. That is what they are. Happy news. This is happy news. Put on your happy hats. Everybody take a happy opiate. Whatever you need, take that happy pill. Bernie Sanders, not only is he willing to campaign for Montana populist Rob Quist, thank you, Bernie, because I think Rob needs all the help he can get where he's at behind enemy lines there in Montana. okay? My God, let's get this progressive in office. He's well-liked by the community, right? They don't run around calling him a libtard. I mean, so this is fantastic. Not only is Bernie going to help Rob, Bernie is going on tour. And I don't have that particular thing loaded, but we'll look at, maybe we'll find that article. But that's, once we get the schedule, find out where he's going to be. And I know he's going to be in Iowa, and Scott's going to deliver that for us. Thank you, by the way, LiveView, for continuing to work. Thank you, Claudia. And we're going to broadcast as many of these as I can, because Bernie is inspiring, and Bernie knows how to motivate and move people, and Bernie is like the only person still that I feel in terms of politicians that just speaks true. Always. Always. I don't ever hear him just, he never sounds like a fucking politician. He just sounds like a human being. And that's so needed right now. It hits you. Anyway, this is fantastic news. Very glad to have this happen. Bernie World Tour 2017. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, he should come to Germany, man.
Oh, if he went to Germany. Man. I'm afraid to fly anymore, but I'd love to go to Germany and see him there in person. That'd be awesome.
Me too.
Markus.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed this, or maybe I didn't miss it because I can't keep track of the news I cover anymore. There's just so much shit that happens. But Jerry Brown signed $15 minimum wage in California. It's not just a law or bill. It's like done. It's happened. $15 minimum wage California. Congratulations. He made a statement. Where's that statement? I thought it was interesting. I got to find the goddamn statement. Basically saying it was the moral thing to do, even if it didn't make sense. And I think what he was trying to say was, even if fiscally it may not make sense, it's the right thing to do, which is, did that just come out of a fucking politician's mouth? And my question to Jerry Brown, Governor Jerry Brown casting a living wage as a moral imperative while questioning its economic rationale. That's okay. If it's a moral imperative to pay people a living wage, is it also a moral imperative to keep them living? Why are you fracking the fuck out of California, Jerry? Why are you such a hypocrite, dude? Your people aren't even going to be alive to use this $15 minimum wage because in LA they can't breathe because you're fracking a fuck out of the LA basin. Nobody knows why. Why, Jerry? Why are you a hypocrite? What fossil fuel exec has you in their pocket? I get that you're doing good things for California, but you can't promote moral imperatives on one side and frack the fuck out of your land on the other. That's hypocrisy, Jerry. I don't get it. But congratulations on the $15 minimum wage, California. I hope those of you who live there are alive long enough to utilize it. I really do. This is brilliant. This is a nonviolent direct action that is probably just irritating as fuck.
Yeah.
I say irritating. Hold a town hall. Cards Against Humanity delivering, and the Cards Against Humanity creator he's very active. Apparently has money. Well, he collects money. People are donating this. He knows how to utilize the internet for crowdsourcing to do things that are awesome. All right, so this is what he did. Cards Against Humanity delivering 2,059 potatoes to Ron Johnson's Milwaukee office. Each potato says, hold a town hall, with the name of a person who donated $5 to send that potato to Ron Johnson. Ron Johnson is apparently a representative who has no interest in meeting with his goddamn constituents. Ron forgets who he works for. So the boss is sending, kind of a, I don't know, what would you call this? Passive-aggressive, direct message? I just filling his office with potatoes. I don't know. There's no bad environmental impact. I don't know. But that's great. Fill his fucking office. What's he gonna do with them?
Yeah, it's creative, funny, and it draws attention.
It is
perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't. So you guys are asking, sent potatoes? They did. Why? I mean, maybe it's here. Let's see. According to a statement from Cards Against Humanity officials, beginning the first week in April, they are making good on the campaign, delivering 2,059 potatoes to Johnson's Milwaukee office It's shameful that a U.S. senator is too afraid of his own constituents to hold an in-person town hall, said Max Temkin, Card's co-creator, in a statement. He's running from the very people he's supposed to serve. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Cards Against Humanity officials said each potato is individually packaged in a clear plastic bag. A label is also applied to each potato that says, hold a town hall in the name of the person who paid for it. It's lovely. That's, yeah.
But why potatoes?
I don't know. It's better than throwing potatoes at him. It most certainly is.
Okay.
We don't want to hurt.
It could have been tomatoes or anything. I was wondering. Maybe it was a hidden Devo fan.
I don't know. I mean, are they in a... What state are they in? Is it because they're in... No, it's Milwaukee. Okay, so it's not like a big potato place, right? I don't know. Fuck, I don't know. Potatoes is better than cat turds, right? Or I mean, like I said, potatoes. I don't know. Moving on. More climate-y thing. This is like ground game. We went into ground game, by the way, at some point. Let me make sure I didn't miss something important here. Family values guy, Bernie, state power. A lot of this is state power. That's what we're looking at here is like all these... We're going to cover a few more incidences where it's just the state has power. The state can do things to tell the federal government to go fuck itself. We have that power. The state can enact laws that say our law enforcement will not have the right to wear masks or look like ISIS. We can do that. We just have to put the right people in power at the state level. And that's really what needs to happen right now while we are fighting 45 in this gang of... I don't even know what they are these days. States have a lot of power. Here's another example. I lose my guy. I didn't even know this happened. This is old too. Like I missed news. This happened on April 3rd, everybody. Sturgeon signs climate agreement with California. Now, if you read that without knowing who Sturgeon is, you're like a fish signed an agreement with the state of California. Okay. That's not what happened. First Minister Nicola Sturgeon of, I think, Scotland. Yeah. Has signed a joint agreement with the governor of California committing them to work together on climate change. Basically saying, who gives a fuck what the federal government is doing? Let's work together, state to country, and get shit done. Because I actually think California's GDP is higher than Scotland's. I think we are a bigger entity than Scotland all around, right? So we can work together. I mean, that doesn't matter one way or the other. I'm just saying that's fun. It's like this is a state that actually is huge, right? So the fact that they're working as kind of like a country, really, with Scotland in terms of climate, that's great. Why don't we get all the states that don't have their heads in their ass with regard to climate change to form a coalition of the states that don't have their heads in their ass and then agree to go work with other nations on behalf of us and say, fuck the federal government. You know? Who in politics can make that shit happen? Somebody do that. Potato curry? You guys unshreddable? Good Lord. What are you guys talking about with your potatoes?
I think some are preparing lunch or something like this.
You guys are making me hungry now. Stop. And I saw that comment.
Ways how to eat potatoes.
What? What, Marcus?
100 ways how to eat and cook potatoes.
Nice. I saw that comment, K Grin. Thank you. This understand that if we could change the power structures in the states, we could effect a brilliant revolution. Yes. Understand that it's taken me 2 years to get there. I did not reach these conclusions. Yes, I did reach them overnight. I did not reach these conclusions a long time ago. Okay, at the beginning, I was very ignorant. I was an angry American who had no concept of how my government functioned or is supposed to function. I had no concept of the power that I had control of. I had no concept of how to take that power. I had no concept of what to do to regain sovereignty over my government. My government. Our government. Right? Everything within it belongs to all of us. All of it. Every single fucking thing, including the people that are supposed to do our bidding. But I didn't understand that process. I just screamed and yelled and I wanted to be violent and I wanted to go attack the government, burn the White House down. It's taken 2 years of smacking my head into hard objects, of screaming at Scott. Why? At Scott saying, I don't know, I've been doing this for 30 fucking years. At Bernie Sanders saying, I've been doing this for 30 fucking years. Right? I became a PCP. Okay, Grin, I because that really is the most powerful thing I can do, is to take an active role in my government, figure out how it functions, and see what I can do to make change. That's what we're doing. And listen, I've seen how fast you go from taking a role in your government as a volunteer to becoming a senator. I know people that have done that. I know people like Chad Lupkes that have moved up in government. I know people like Justin Bryce who ended up going and doing things at the state. And I'm not saying this to name drop. I'm saying I never thought I'd be able to name drop. I'm saying it's really easy to become a name to drop if you just take a role in your government and you move up the ranks, because there are a lot of empty seats. And there are a lot of people filling seats that shouldn't be there. And they don't even have the brains to be there. All it takes is a challenger, somebody willing to raise their hand or stand up or say, I'll go. And that's what I've said. I don't have any experience in being a politician, and I have no interest in being one. Whatever you want me to do in government, I will trust the people that I work with to say, go do that, go do this. If I end up sitting in a room just working like this, doing communications for the government, that's fine. That's I'm willing to serve, and I understand that I'm going to be a public servant. I get that sharp T when I am working for the public. It's not demeaning. I'm proud of that. But I have to understand that's my place. Just like cops. Anyway, moving on. Just had to go there. People like Chad and Markus, who's in a more evolved democracy, and Justin and Charles and so many other people, Scott, they've educated me. They've been patient with me as I grew up in my democracy, as we all have. Think of Bernie. My God, the poor man. Why do you see him with double face palm all the time? Because he's like, 30 fucking years. I've been doing this for 30 years. I mean, that's,
I think the fact that we are here on the show and the viewers are in the chat, that we are educating ourselves is very powerful and worth what we are doing.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it's a testament to where we're at, and I thank you guys for making this something worth doing. Is democratic utopianism dying? You bet it is. At least under the capitalist guise. Capitalism is dying. That's what's really happening here. Capitalism as our ideology is dying. It should not be how our government functions. Our government is not a democracy. It's a capitalocracy. I don't know, whatever the fuck it is. It's a business.
And I would say that democracy cannot work with capitalism together.
No, I don't. No, I agree that we're evolving beyond. The end will not be this form of government. It'll be a different form of government, more evolved form of government. Other nations are on their way to figuring out really what that looks like in the best scenario. We're now dragging ass. We may have led the world in democracy, and now we're dragging ass in social democracy, because that's where it's going. That's okay. We let other peoples take the lead. We didn't used to be the king all the time. UK, England was king for a while. Spain was great for a while. France was great for a while. Germany was great. They had their heyday many times. The Ottoman Empire. Everybody has their heyday. Ours is done. Ours is done. Thank God. But this is the last ugly roar of the American beast. That's what's going on right now. Direct democracy vids, better system. Talking about that, Jilly Love. Very cool. Yeah, I'm for a self-governing body that has people that are representatives but are completely controlled by our ability to tell them how we want them to vote. They just place a vote. I want us to When there's a vote that needs to happen, the citizens vote and our representatives enact those choices. That's the democracy I want. But it takes an educated populace. We don't have that. We're far from that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Marcus, go ahead.
And I think it needs educated voters also.
Yes, well, yeah, educated.
If you look how many voters finally vote against their own purposes, their own agenda, you know, how can I never could understand how people could go in America and vote against unions.
Because
I could not get this, because unions are not self-serving, should not be self-serving, but be in the work in the interest of the workers, you know.
Yeah, well, that's.
I never understood this. Why it was so hard. I know one example when a couple of years ago VW wanted to open a plant in I don't know which state it was, somewhere in America, and the condition was coming from Germany that the union would be installed in this plant. The governor of the state said, no, we don't want it. So the plant was not built there.
I know. It's ridiculous. But that's because the governor was corrupt, and the governor, you know, is working in the interest of greed. That's all it is. The people might not have given a shit. And the people who were going to work in that plant would have been happy to have a union. Right? That's, you know, good. We don't even go there. You're right, Marcus. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're moving into the climate science section of our show today. There is only one thing worse than 45.
Yeah.
And, I can't remember his name now. Stephen Hawking. I think guys would bounce back and forth. This is Stephen Hawking's quote, that there's one thing threatens us more than Donald Trump: climate change. And we know this. And Donald Trump is working very fast to make climate change worse. And I was looking at a article earlier talking to Marcus about it, that the numbers. Remember, I keep talking about how the increase continues to increase. The rate of change. It's actually what this tattoo is. When I completed college at the age of 38, I don't know, 37, 38, I don't know what it was. That tattoo it's the first derivative, it's first fundamental theorem of calculus, and it's calculating the velocity at a point in time. The whole point of this is it calculates the rate of change at a moment in time, and our rate of change in climate, the temperature, the CO2 levels, is logarithmic. It's just off the fucking charts at this point, and it's going to continue to get worse and worse and worse. And the estimates of the amount of time we have are going to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And, you know, it's sad that we are not prophetic as a nation. We are retroactive, not proactive. We don't think to the future. We react to change instead of creating the change. That's the paradigm that we're attempting to shift right now, is a nation, a globe of citizens that is proactive, thinking ahead instead of reacting to forces that we think are beyond our control. That's really the shift. I hope we can make that happen before our planet is uninhabitable. Because something else that Stephen Hawking says in here is really, it's not that far off to be like Venus and have temperatures during the day of 250 degrees. It doesn't take that much of a shift in the overall global temperatures to make that happen at the equator. And once it starts happening, that rate of it doesn't stop. You understand? It's not going to stop. It's not like it's going to reach a particular temperature and go, oh, this is good. I mean, sure, at some point enough of humanity will be dead that the fossil fuel systems won't be functioning and the amount of carbon that we put in the air won't be there, and it'll slowly begin, you know, at that point it won't even begin to decline. The problem is we're about to unlock vast amounts of CO2 and methane, carbon trapped under the oceans. We're about to unlock it trapped in ice. We're about to unlock it trapped in permafrost. And that's on top of everything we're doing right now. It's not looking good for humanity in terms of our timetable to save ourselves. It really isn't. I just want to be clear. I want to see it happen. I want it to be the best movie ever. Armageddon, right? I want it to be great end music, and Bruce Willis comes in, and we're on the space shuttle, and we do what we need to do, and somehow knocking an asteroid out of the air makes the Earth cool again. That would be fucking awesome. It would actually be easier to do that than what we have to do here to stop climate change or to slow it. Seriously. I would rather have to knock an asteroid out of the sky with a space shuttle and Bruce Willis. And Aerosmith, for fuck's sake. Anyway. It's happening as we speak. I know, Bev. I know. It's happening right now. It's like we're in the middle of watching the death of our planet. We could do something about it, but we're too dumb. We're not prophetic enough to understand we need to proact, not react. I say we, I mean the people in power. When I say we, really, I speak about the United States, because that's the we that I feel like the most part of that could be making a change. And I'm so embarrassed and ashamed at where the leadership of the we is going. It's really bad. We can stop Exxon. You're absolutely right. Phil, I actually believe we could stop global warming. I think if we got everybody together when everybody realizes they have to get together, and all the scientists and all the technology and things, we are amazing creatures at saving our asses when it comes down to a timetable. We do this all the time. It's just, we haven't reached that yet. And it's really agonizing to watch us creep to that moment and wondering, well, am I even going to reach that moment or see beyond it, or am I just going to be dead from something? Right? How many people are going to die before we mobilize? It's really my question. Happy stuff, eh?
Yeah.
All right, sciencey. Graphene. Graphene is a badass thing. It's we make two-dimensional thing, if you want it to be. And we have now figured out how to turn graphene into a membrane, graphene oxide membrane, that will allow us to basically separate salt out of water. That's like a holy grail. Remember, there was a kid that figured out how to do it without all this bullshit, just saying, why don't we just take the, like you can do this. He just like there's all this. Anyway, he had a really simple solution, an elegant solution that was really brilliant. We talked about maybe a month ago. This is another solution. Material science, the science world is going off the charts in terms of development, in terms of things that we could be focused on, that we could be utilizing, working on. Instead, we've got knuckle draggers going to war with each other over a fuel we don't even need. I'm not proud of being a domesticated ape anymore. I don't feel like the dominant species. I feel like a really bad science experiment of somebody else's. And they're looking down at it going, should I just dump it out, Mommy? I didn't know it was going to get dirty. That's what I feel like. I don't know about you guys. Two more things. I probably put this in the wrong place. And this is a total left turn. A huge left turn. All right. Laura Livengood asked me to, I'm going to start plugging good businesses. I don't know why. I've been talking about this for a while. So this business, kind of cute title, is called Gophers Limited, Non-Toxic Humane Pest Control. This is, I didn't have much of a problem with gophers in Colorado, but I certainly did when I got to Oregon. And I guess, farm land and stuff. So this guy is a friend of Laura's, and he's in, I think, the San Jose area. And he does humane pest control. And I think that's great. I think we need a way to do that. We need to be thinking humanely. So there you go. There's the plug. You got it, Laura. And if your business operates humanely, let me know. Happy to. And it's not like we're asking any money or anything. We'll just promote the business here. So very nice. Yes, Jupiter or Judy Meyer. I see your John with massive. Ding, 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 ding. What's going on there? What about the rest of the chemicals in seawater? Well, like what? Are we the nasty chemicals we put in, or are you just talking about other things? I don't know. I think taking the salt out was the big issue. All the other stuff were Brita's trying to sell everybody filters. Don't force the people in your town to provide you with clean drinking water for free. Go buy a Brita filter and spend the rest of your lives throwing out pieces of plastic and buying new pieces of plastic for it. That's capitalism. Where your government is supposed to provide you clean drinking, and it's your government, so you can make it a law that your government provides clean drinking water and stops allowing Nestle to suck all the water out of the reservoir for free, and stops Brita from saying, oh, don't worry about government-free water there. We don't want that socialist water. Just go buy a filter. Oh, Judy Meyer asked you about gophers. Okay. Well, I'm sure we can't. My neighbor in Milwaukee shot them. He was a weird guy. Weird guy. All right. We got 40. Ah, man. I have a lot to say about weed today. I learned a lot about weed. We're trying to get to the weed part. All right. Yes, capitalism does encourage short-term thinking because they want you to throw it away and buy a new one. You're absolutely right, John Warren. This is kind of funny. Most of our government systems and most of our government people are really behind the times in terms of tech. And it's really sad. I know there's some liberal pockets here and there that have advanced tech going on, but most it's just awful. Their communication skills, the protection from hacking. This story is funny, but also not so funny. Dallas emergency siren system was hacked. They were able to turn on all 156 of the city's sirens at once. Currently, they have no idea how the hacker got in or how they can prevent this from happening again. Which means that the sirens aren't they're not usable right now. So Dallas can't warn its citizens the next time there's a massive hurricane or tornado or whatever else comes from climate change. I'm sorry, biblical weather. Because in Dallas, I'm sure it's biblical and has nothing to do with man-made climate change. All right. But it's our communications grids, our systems, our emergency systems, medical systems, our electrical systems, internet systems, they're all shitty. They're all outdated. They're all unsafe and very fragile. And every other nation in the world knows this. The United States is a glass tiger. And we could be absolutely crippled and ground to a halt as a nation. Our military will have no problem moving on and blowing everybody up, but we will be left fucked. Because we have spent nothing, done nothing about our infrastructure in our towns and cities. It's unreal. We've spent an awful lot on militarized police forces. We paid for a lot of CEOs and a lot of executives in our government to have a lot of fancy stuff. And they've done nothing with our funds to provide us with better cities and towns, safer cities and towns. It's scary. Sorry if you're in Dallas, guys. Yeah, it was hacking. And yeah, that's 156 sirens in Dallas. That's, What's next? All right, we're on to weed. Hopefully I have enough time. I've learned so much, guys. Learned so much. Cannabis. So the title of the card, which I'm bouncing around here, is to show you the card here. Is cannabis, aromatherapy, terpenes, and strains. I've learned so much about cannabis. Amazing. We, scientists, have learned a lot about cannabis in the last several years. There's been this explosion of science and effort and understanding about cannabis, but not just cannabis, about terpenes. Terpenes are the essential oils, minerals, that are responsible for smell and in taste somewhat of everything. And the terpenes that are in cannabis are terpenes that are in many other things. They're not limited to cannabis. The terpene limonene, which makes things smell citrusy, is in all sorts of stuff. It's the terpene that's in lemons and every fucking citrus thing on planet. It's like, that's what it's for. All right. There's a terpene that I can't pronounce. It starts with a C that is peppery. And both of those terpenes are very evident in cannabis, right? The peppery, the lemony, whether it's a dominant trait or a recessive trait has to do with the genetics. But the phenology, the terpenes have to do with the overall profile of the phonetic profile of the plant itself. And why this is important for a number of reasons. There's a lot of links that I dropped in the description of this. The first link is to the Cannabis Breeder's Bible, which is the book that I'm diving into now, which has me just in a tailspin of knowledge about strain variants, and the way we can breed unique strains, not only genetically, but with the phenotypes that we want, with the aroma traits and the garden traits of our environment. We can affect that. It's just brilliant. I'm telling you, I don't understand it all yet because I'm just diving into this so deep. What's possible here? This just happened. This is recent stuff dropped. This is terpene synthases from cannabis sativa. What they were able to do was break down and identify all of the terpenes within cannabis, and this is new stuff. All right, we knew they were in there, but we've never had like a phenotype map of what is in there. And what's amazing is that scientists have known for a long time the whole concept of aromatherapy, right? Aromatherapy, which I remember in the late 80s, early 90s was a big deal, and everybody had a fucking potpourri candle or a goddamn bowl of some oil, and you walked into everybody's house and it was like, oh God, it smells like patchouli oil and fucking, the florist. You all remember that? My mom loved that shit. You remember that, right, Marcus? Those times?
I do. Yeah.
And my mom loved that stuff. Guess what? Aromatherapy isn't bullshit. Like, those terpenes actually do things. The limonene terpene is responsible for energy. It makes you feel energetic. It has a reaction with your body because we're organic. These are like the little, like when you think about like when you amend a soil, all right? You think about soil. You can amend soil with all sorts of things. Stuff directly from your neighborhood, so you get in the nutrients that are there. You can use, when I amend with soil, I amend with vermiculite and perlite to make it more airy, and I amend with earthworm castings to give it some essential nutrients, and I amend with coconut fibers. Right? Those are the things I put in like a good, healthy soil for my area, for what I need here, because we've got a lot of clay, heavy soil. We are organic beings that can be amended. And the plants, and animals, everything around us, these are our this is our pharmacy, planet Earth. And we're just starting to unlock the amazing power of plant science for cannabis and understanding that a strain. So here's what's blowing my mind about the genetics, learning all this shit, is that OG Kush, take this for example, and I had a Phylos genotype. These guys are amazing. These guys are mapping the genetic relationships within cannabis strains. Okay. And this is mind-blowing science, all right? Mind-blowing science. The reason this is so unique, the reason why cannabis is so unique, and the reason I'm going like nuts about this is because, and there's a reason it's personal to me, okay? My grandfather was a pharmacist. He was a compounding pharmacist, and those really don't exist much anymore. They're starting to come back around because of natural medicine. But back in the 20s and 30s and prior, a pharmacist, and he had a pharmacist degree from school, they not only made medicines, But they did a lot of stuff with a mortar and pestle, and they would mix different ingredients, and so they could make, medicine taste one way or another way, or fix it so that it wasn't so, for sensitive stomachs or whatnot. And that was the pharmacist's job in a town, was to, a compounding pharmacist had a special talent for being able to make things work best for the person, not just give them the drug. Okay? And we're learning that we can, through crossbreeding, crossing, inbreeding of clones, through growing the cannabis strain in a different environment, you access and bring out different phenotypes, different terpenes that may be recessive as opposed to a dominant within the gene structure. And this is why an OG Kush has 4 different phenotypes that we're aware of, 3 of which are heavy on indica, 1 of which is heavy on sativa. And in terms of what it smells like, that could completely change if I were to grow the same seed, the same clone of a plant. If I grow it here in my garage versus out in my yard versus 5 miles away. Because the environment completely affects what that plant is going to bring out of its terpene structure. Now, overall, they're going to be similar, and breeders work really hard to do what's called back crossing in clones to make sure that the traits they want, those terpenes, that phenetic profile, that those traits are the dominant traits. But even then, there's the whole reason that genetics works is because mutation and variance occurs. Right? So the whole reason I'm going nuts about all this is to say that every strain you have is unique. And every grow you grow is unique. And that you can affect change in that growth of that medicine in many ways. It's just an amazing world of basically natural compounding pharmacy. It's what it is. And it's funny because I'm a white, dumb, suburban American guy who's basically explaining to you what indigenous people have known for thousands of years. Like it's some big fucking news. Aren't I smart?
And Christoph Columbus discovered America.
Yes, he did, God damn it.
Yeah.
I'm just glad that the science of this is starting to come around. Just to give you an idea, I just want to show you guys this picture. This is what's called a landrace strain. Hindu Kush. Landrace strain is a strain that is from a specific area. It's an old, ancient strain, basically like a beginner, a starter. Landraces have basically formed their genotype and their phenotype perfect for their environment, and they've been there so long that they are rock solid in that structure, in that genetic and phonetic type. Hindu Kush is a landrace strain, and what you're looking at here is one representation of the offspring. It's just mind-blowing. And here's, this is my favorite though. It used to be, this is how fast the science of cannabis is going. It used to be that it cost a lot of money, like $25,000 to get a strain tested. This is ridiculous expensive. Now, you can get your strain tested. I can get a strain test. I don't have to be just a person. I can send it the strain. That's what this is. This is a company that tests strains, basically giving you the basic profile. It'll tell you a basic genealogy. It'll say who the parents are, right? So if I've got Dave's mystery strain, and we don't know what its parents are, we don't know its lineage. I don't know anything about it other than it's a sativa dominant strain, and I can tell that by its characteristics. That's about it. Right? They will take that and they will tell me the parents, and they will give me its phenotype structure. They will tell me the base THC level, CBD levels, and any other levels they can tell me in there of other cannabinoids for $70. $70. And the reason this list, I like this list because access point vendors the last thing on the list. And what you can see here is there's not a lot of access point vendors. In other words, there's not a lot of dispensaries. There's one, KBF, right? Growers, Indoor Tropics, LLC, Pure Green Cross. But look at all the blank spaces. Those are just people like you and me sending in a strain and saying, I want to know how good my weed is or what it is, right? Because I may know what it is. Like I may cross a strain and go, I just tried to cross my OG Kush with Psycho Crack, which to my knowledge hasn't been done. And then send it in and go, tell me, what did I make? But even then, if I take clones of that plant, if I make a mother plant of that and I take clones, those clones will not all have the same properties. I will have to back cross continually until I create the mother plant that has the phonetic type that I want, that has the gene structure that I want with the dominant traits that I want. And then when I send you the seeds, it's going to grow differently. It may have those core traits, but it may come out differently because of what's in your garden. That's the amazing of this, right? That I just find that awesome. I just go off on the weed because for me, I feel like I'm going to continue on. I'm going to start doing this. What I've been doing here is building up a strain collection. I've got almost 20 strains right now in mother plants. And I'm going to keep building that so that I can breed my own medicine. Be my own pharmacy. Why not? I have no health insurance. You know? Anyway. I know you guys...
You go some kind back into the footsteps of your grandfather.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly right. Hey, Dewey Bueno, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. That's exactly right. All right, we're right on time to go into the end song, which I failed to actually pull. Why do I keep forgetting to pull something? Hang on. In the description, there's two links. There's a link to the tune. You're going to open up here. There's a link to the song, and there's a link to the lyrics, which are very important. This is, oh, we've got shitty connection quality. Sorry, guys. Looks like it's buffering. We have gone down in our connection ability. Let me know. I'm just waiting for this to pull up. So the end song is called Last Plane Out, assuming it'll load, which we're waiting for YouTube to do that right now. And I don't know if you've ever heard of Toy Matinee. Markus, you ever heard of the band Toy Matinee? They're pretty old.
No, I didn't, because I'm just checking the news coming from Jupiter Judy.
What's up?
Joking.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Go ahead and find out what's going on.
Really. It was the team bus of Borussia Dortmund.
Oh, that sucks.
Here. One player is hurt.
Oh, that's too bad.
The game was cancelled. Okay, I don't know yet what's going on there. I will check later. Okay.
All right, give me a minute, guys. I'm going to close down one of my cameras that I don't need, see if that helps with the quality. All right, so now it's buffering. Yeah, sorry, John. All right, so we'll look into that. That's terrible. That's sorry to hear that, Markus.
Yeah. I will check later what's going on.
All right, guys. The music story time. Assuming this will load. It's. I'm watching it. Give me the wheel of death here on YouTube. Last Plane Out is a song by artist Kevin Gilbert. Kevin Gilbert was the founder, creator of Toy Matinee. Toy Matinee was a very short-lived band in the late 80s, early 90s, right as the super production of what basically Toy Matinee was the pinnacle of 80s overproduced quality took over. All right. It was great. It was complex. It was deep. It was good music, and everybody was moving on to grunge. So they had a brief moment in the sun, and then they moved on to touring Japan, basically. Tragically, Kevin Gilbert committed suicide later on. He was a very depressed and but a brilliant artist, and his songwriting is amazing. This song is basically, I really didn't know. I woke up at 4:30 this morning, and the first thing I actually thought about was what song. I was looking at, like, that always bugs me. I never pick it till later, but I was like, what song am I going to play at the end of the day if Markus hasn't picked it, right? This song is about us. It's prophetic because it talks about where we are right now in 1987 or whenever this album came out. I don't even know when this album came out. It might have been earlier than that. Yeah. We are victims of our own greed. We have an opportunity right now to either progress, be prophetic, right? Do things we need to do now, not just react to climate change, not just react to our government's abuse, not just react to the world around us, but proact. We have to be prophets. We have to force the uncomfortable change. Prophet meaning, to definitions of prophet, we are one of the persons, we are people who we have seen the future. We see what's coming. We need to be the preachers of that insanity, and we need to force the change that we need to make happen now so that we can survive. You know, that's really where we're at, and this is the last play out is basically about human's folly. And although I say man and then realize that's sexist, but I do mean man. Because it's been the greed of men, primarily, that has driven us to where we sit today. And men need to take responsibility for that. Men need to be accountable for that. We decided we were going to rule with the penis and make all others subservient to us. And it's our fault that we've remained knuckle draggers, domesticated apes for so long. That's men. Sorry. Check out the lyrics. And yes, the last play out for Mankind is still loading. It actually is. I hope this plays. It's doing Wheel of Death right now, so I hope it actually runs through. We'll see. Thank you, Markus, for being here and for providing a very unique and very needed perspective from another country. Always.
Thank you.
You guys stay sane, stay safe, and just remember, we can do this. We have a chance. We got a lot of work to do, but if we're prophets, we can get it done. Let's not have the ending. Let's not have Kevin Gilbert's ending, either in this song or in life. All right. And this is 1990.